shield?
Well, every 11 years, the sun has a temper tantrum. It releases a shock wave, a tsunami of radiation that could wipe out communication, weather satellites, GPS, spy satellites, you name it. The internet, Fox, television, cable, satellite TV, all of it could get wiped out around 2012. That's when we have the peak of the sunspot cycle. That's when the sun's magnetic field flips. North pole and south pole flip, releasing a shock wave of radiation, which will then hit the Earth minutes later, potentially wiping out a good chunk of our satellite communications. We're watching it very carefully now.
Well, Doc, this happens how often, you say?
Every 11 years.
Well,
However,
why an 11-year cycle?
It takes 11 years for the magnetic field of the sun to build up enough intensity to begin the flip process, because it slowly revolves in a circle. It's like winding up the windings of a clock. If you wind up the mainspring of a clock too much, it boing, comes out of control. Same thing with the sun's magnetic field. It literally flips every 11 years, releasing a shock wave of radiation, and that means...
Earth has just been visited by the perfect solar storm.
The sun kicked up this just incredible solar flare and a massive amount of energy headed towards Earth.
Not only was this storm one of the two most powerful on record, it was also one of the fastest. Ejecting from a sunspot aimed directly at Earth, it raced from the sun to our planet in less than 18 hours.
Now it takes a really fast rocket ship years to get to the sun. This storm, this cloud of electrified particles, managed to get here in less than a day. That's incredibly fast.
Fortunately, the perfect solar storm took place in 1859, when the only technology vulnerable to the onslaught was the telegraph. Since the era in which we have become dependent on high technology, we've yet to see another perfect solar storm. The question remains, could it happen again?
What if we have another one like that? Can we have another perfect storm? Well, I'd say yes, we can. There's no doubt about that. The effects that would be on us today compared to 1859 could be devastating.
The effects on Earth and on our communication systems, we don't exactly know. That's the scary part.
It's likely that our modern technologies would be battered like beachfront houses during a hurricane. Imagine if we lost all the satellites that relay cell phone calls, television signals, and bank transactions. And what if, at the same time, the failure of power grids cascaded whole regions into darkness for hours or weeks? If these essential services couldn't be restored quickly, chaos wouldn't be far behind.
The sun will appear from the west instead of the east. We have known that for years and years and years. And we were told that the sun will appear from the west as a sign that the hour is approaching. Now, again, I remind myself and I remind my sisters and brothers that whatever I will mention from science that people really put as the absolute truth when we know it is not, but what we know from science is the following.
The magnetic field of the Earth is in decline. It has been for the last 2,000 years. It looks like a chart on the New York Stock Exchange on a bad day. It's started declining. It's never gone back. So we're at the lowest point in planetary magnetics now that we have been in the last 2,000 years. We have seen Earth have this experience in the geologic record. We've seen this happen at least 14 times in the last 4.5 million years. And every time it happens, it precedes a flip, a 180-degree reversal of the magnetic field. So they get weaker and weaker. Magnetic fields decline. They get weaker and weaker and weaker until they drop to zero for a period of a few days, it looks like. Then the field reverses, and what used to be North Pole is South, South Pole becomes North, and the fields begin to get stronger and stronger and stronger.
Guess what will happen when that takes place? The sun will appear from the west. And the hadith related through the authority of Hudhayfa ibn al-Yaman from Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam about this is very clear. When the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam is reported to have said that when the hour approaches, two nights will join each other and the people will wake up from the first night to see that the night is not over yet.
The magnetic fields decline. They get weaker and weaker and weaker until they drop to zero for a period of a few days, it looks like. Then the field reverses, and what used to be North Pole is South, South Pole becomes North, and the fields begin to get stronger and stronger and stronger.
And they will be terrified, and they will be scared, and they will find that the sun did not come out. And another night came, and then 2 nights will appear in a row, and then after that the sun will appear again, but this time it will come from the west instead of the east.